A very good morning to our lecturers. We are from Group 4. We will be presenting our research case study, which focuses on sustainable heritage tourism. A significant component of KL's Chinatown, Jalan Tun Hicesli, is widely known for its culturally rich temples and businesses that line its path. It has remained a tourist hotspot for many years, but this has changed in recent times. As a result of the pandemic, Jalan Tun Hicesli has been exhibiting unsustainable tourism. With a lack of tourist turnout, there's been a lack of business and subsequently funds to preserve the aesthetic of the street. These issues have raised concerns on local values of heritage, with us posing the question of how we can upkeep these values, justify them in terms of economic and architectural significance. And so we've come up with the title of Striking a Balance Between Long-Term Conservation and Tourism.
Hi, my name is Shariha and I'll be explaining on the abstract of our research. The purpose of this study into the long-term sustainability of heritage and tourism along Jalan Tun Hecesli is to investigate the attainability of balance between both at the site in the future. While architectural heritage and identity should be preserved, a city cannot ignore the importance of economic development both for the sake of the citizens' cultural identity and livelihoods. The study emphasizes the importance of conserving historical architectural facades so that the tourism industry can be improved and well managed through in depth research on the challenges and solutions towards the conservation of facades. We can implement the practice of architectural facades to preserve the facade or face of a structure while a new building is built behind it. Retaining the facade preserves the general appearance of a building while allowing the construction of new internal structures and floor layouts to meet the needs of modern users. Once the construction of the internal structure is completed, the existing facade can be connected to it. During a visit to the site, it was noted that the different facades of the buildings reflect the different eras and transition periods that the region has gone through, and if modernity is an essential adaptation, the spark of heritage and culture should shine into the future. Conservation provides the potential to preserve the past while simultaneously defining the future and also has a positive economic and social impact. Conserved architectural heritage promotes community identity and society with strong identity values. The society's outstanding cultural values paved the way for the preservation of historical buildings. Proper planning in the long-term preservation of the facade in Jalan Tun HSD with the implementation of modern technology, reasonable incentives to the public, and sensitivity to heritage will assist in the street's longevity.
To understand the importance of conserving historical architectural facades, in a result of increasing the number and attracting the tourism industry through in-depth research on the challenges and solutions towards the conservation of the facade or the structure itself. The issues Jalan Tun Hicesli is experiencing unsustainable tourism as a result of the pandemic. This includes a lack of business, a significant decrease in tourist turnout, and difficulty preserving the aesthetic of the street. Along with this issue, a site visit of the 1st October revealed that many of the shophouses and high-rises have been underutilized, abandoned, or in the midst of decay, which indicates a lack of conservation. This had raised the question of how the tourism industry of the street can be improved while not forsaking any of the cultural and architectural heritage.
Hello, I am Teo Junman and I will be introducing our conceptual framework. After a discussion and site visit on the 1st of October, our chosen topic is sustainable heritage tourism, and we decided to investigate how the street could strike a balance between long-term conservation of heritage architecture and tourism after we identified the lack of proper architectural heritage maintenance in Jalan Tun Hijazli. The main contributors to this issue are as follows. The first is the current state of decay and abandonment of architecturally rich buildings. The second is a lack of effective law implementation on the renovation work requirements on heritage buildings. Both of these factors affect the street architecturally, as the original facades of the buildings are lost. Other than that, there are the economic factors, With a lower tourist turnout due to pandemic situation, business and property owners face repercussions and are unable to direct sufficient care to the buildings. To aid in attracting customers, businesses are also more willing to forgo traditional structures for trendier, easier to maintain modern ones. While understandable, all these factors contribute to the issue of improper heritage conservation in such a way that the street loses its heritage. Tourism in the street is also sabotaged. We therefore researched on ways to overcome these factors one by one and eventually mitigate the issue.
Hello everyone, I'm Alvin John. I'll be presenting the first question: how to maintain and restore traditional Chinese shop houses and temples as a result of sustaining the tourism industry. Old and historical buildings are a symbol of cultural identity and heritage for a certain community. To conserve historical buildings, any changes or upgrades considered should be sympathetic to the original architect's specific design intent, and they should also be installed to avoid damage or character-defining features and finishes. Ensure the building can support modern amenities. For our case study, we decided to follow up on Sweet Chili Hotel in Georgetown, Penang. This is a project that involves restoring 3 unique pre-war shop houses into a boutique hotel that embraces the homestay theme, where guests experience local culture. The process of the renovation can be interpreted as restorative renovation, as traditional features are retained and restored where possible. It involved the implementation of some of the following techniques. There was restoration works, mainly on the ground floor. There was reinforcement and alteration. This involves minor changes such as material size and orientation. There was replacement of damaged sections like the roof tiles. There was addition of new features, and there was use of recycled materials, with the term recycled used locally as the context of second-hand goods. I'll pass it on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Elvin. I'm Amy, and I'm going to talk about our research question 2. How does the architectural heritage along Jalan Tun HSLI, as illustrated by the historically rich Malaysia, helps to attract tourists? The temples in Jalan Tun HSLI are heritage buildings that should continue to be preserved authentically, as they are the biggest highlight of local tourism. The uniqueness, historical, and cultural significance of buildings are found to be appealing to tourists, boosting its competitiveness in tourism. Heritage places have educational, cultural, and entertainment opportunities that also increase their spiritual and entertaining values. Next, we will talk about the case study of Sultan Abdul Samad building in Kuala Lumpur. It's a monumental building built in Moorish architecture. It has attracted tourists from all around the world. Its main appeals are its educational value and its uniqueness to those who desire to see something different. For renovation works, much funding has been put into understanding its making and conservation. The understanding of the building structure, its significant role in preserving history, place identity, its political function, and its ability to generate tourist revenue were all factors that motivated active government funding into its conservation. Through the survey of the building's economic, historical, functional, and structural makeup, its architectural heritage was valued. That's all for our question 2. And next, I will pass to my friend Sri Ying. Thank you.
I'm Shring. I'm going to talk about how can we or the government assist the business owner to maintain and sustain local tourism and heritage. Firstly, government can provide technical assistance to entrepreneurs by giving discounts or benefit of using abandoned buildings to start their own business. Secondly, arrange people to manage the cleanliness and order of the street. Government or business owner can also make scenic accommodation or sightseeing package, such as setting the tour package or providing a detailed visit itinerary. Talking about tourism, government can also develop new tourism projects by organizing communities' activity to promote traditional cultural activities and food. Lastly, by converting abandoned buildings into shops that young people likes to go, such as bars or cafes, can surely sustaining the local tourism and heritage. Here is a case study in Bangladesh called Sundarbans Impact Zone. The project provided technical assistance, capacity building, training, and startup funding to beneficiaries, enabling them to establish ecotourism sites. By implementing collaboration with local communities and local authorities,
The initiative has helped establish 10 ecotourism sites on community-owned land. These sites offer cultural ecotourism products like eco-tours, homestays, and also eco-cottage. They also provide traditional cultural activities such as eco-travel boat facilities and communities activities, tour package, and also securities and other service. With its emphasis on capacity development, the project has fostered the development of eco-entrepreneurs who understand the value of an eco-friendly tourism models that draws in a niche set of tourists.
Thank you, Sering. I'm Locke, and I will talk about the fourth question of how to ensure the tourism industry recovers from the unconducive economic conditions brought by the pandemic. So, government should establish national tourism strategies and put in place robust laws to protect tourist sites and people who work in the tourist industry. They should also ensure the laws are enforced. We as the citizens of the country should appreciate the cultural heritage of buildings by visiting historical sites which implement domestic tourism. Rex KL. So the information is from Shin Seng, which is the co-founder of the Repurpose project. So the Rex KL is the community hub project, and it is a repurposed old cinema. So before the pandemic, artists perform music shows and exhibitions, and there is also a market and food court. So it is a place of attraction for both tourists and locals when they visit the Kuala Lumpur Chinatowns. So during the pandemic, they converted some of the shows into online content and implemented a donation system where people can donate to the artists via online, so they can support the artists during the pandemic. So Drexcare also created a local brand to support the local farmers and food vendors. The vendors are consolidated as a group and have bundled all their products together, so through ordering online delivery, the customers can select from different vendors within RexKL to support the vendors. And RexKL also advertised the farmers market heavily through social media to help promote the local produce during pandemic. And now RexKL is planning to launch a crowdfunding campaign with the support of the community to help each other survive through the economic hardship brought on during the pandemic.
To conclude, all our case studies have shown that the process of conserving a site through proper maintenance, which is lacking in Jalan Tun Hijazli, can sustainably ensure the architectural and cultural heritage of an area, which subsequently maintains its appeal to visitors. To prevent further losses in heritage as well as further economic repercussions within Jalan Tun Hijazli, the structural integrity of its buildings should be preserved through proper understanding of its makeup and effective implementation of maintenance approaches. Such approaches should be sensitive to both the building's required adaptability to modern wants as well as their significance in heritage. The cooperation of business owners, government officials, occupants, and so on between one another is also integral in ensuring the efficiency of the whole process. Not only must all parties have a heightened awareness of the benefits of architectural heritage conservation, but there must also be heavy involvement in the protection of sites, logistic requirements, human resources, and operation management. With careful execution of tourism policies in hand, the conservation of heritage buildings along Jalan Tun Hijazli should improve the street's economic situation and lead to a more sustainable balance between the old and the new, service and construction. That is all for our presentation. Thank you very much for listening.